Today we are doing a collaboration video, and as you can see, we are so cozy, cozy up because we do want to bring you this vibe of let's just chill and just talk, but we do want to bring you a very good quality topic. And so especially that we are coming into the month of love, we are going to talk about the main 6 things, heart swallow pills that we both have learned about love relationships. Hello my lovely amors, welcome back again to another video. So we have a very special guest here, my lovely friend Prameswari. Please do introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Prameswari. I am a tarot reader, spiritual worker, and a soul-centered hairstylist. So my main work is mostly hairstyling, but I do it in a very holistic, soul-centered way. If you want to learn more about me, I will put all my information on the description below.
Yes, so please do check her Instagram and also her YouTube channel for more tarot and hairstyling and magic witchcraft info as well. All of her info is down below. Okay, so my lovely amors, just get comfortable and you can just drink your hot chocolate, hot tea. We have a tea here with rosemary, super delicious, and we're just going to go in and start with point number 1, okay?
Grab some warm drink and cozy up with us.
Yes, so let's begin. So this very first point, I personally learned this the really hard way myself, which was very empowering actually. And the first point, this is about knowing your value. So I have learned that throughout many relationships and sometimes even friendships as well, in the past, where I was not respecting myself enough by being codependent towards those people.
I feel that.
Yes, I knew that there is this cycle that keeps going on and on and on, and I realized that, oh my goodness, the reason why these people, especially in my love relationships, it keeps happening in a very bad way, sometimes even toxic and even abusive in some ways, it's because I was also enabling them by disrespecting me. Because I'm just going to give you an example, because maybe you also went through this. I always act a certain way of enabling my partner for disrespecting me. Like for example, my partner ghosted me, or my partner was not communicating well enough towards me, and instead of standing up and being assertive and communicate properly with my partner, I actually told my partner that, oh, it's okay, it's okay, I understand, I know that you have your own issues, I know that you have your own insecurities, I know that you're still dealing with your childhood issues or troubles. I understand that you ghosted me because you were also hurt. But instead of actually helping my partner, and I thought that I was healing them, but I was just enabling them to keep disrespecting me that way. So that's when I realized I was being so codependent. Yeah, so what about you, Prameswari?
Definitely. And I think that also comes into my second point, that sometimes it's nobody's fault.
Yes.
That things don't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to leave a relationship where we know like someone is being toxic or someone is not treating us good, but what happens if you know that our partner is a good guy, but or a good a good person, but things just can't work out? Well, sometimes the very shitty thing is that people sometimes things just don't work out, and it's nobody's fault. Sometimes you just need to go a certain direction, the other person needs to go a different direction, and
it's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And I'm reminded of this song by Taylor Swift on the latest album, the song Happiness, and And one of the lyrics that always hits me is that there is happiness after you, but there is happiness because of you.
That's lovely. I love that lyrics.
Right?
But I also, as I mature up and as I grow and have more experiences with different kinds of people as well, both in love and friendships, I also learned, just like what Prameswari was saying, sometimes it's not always like, oh, it's your fault, oh, it's my fault. Sometimes misunderstandings can happen. Miscommunication can happen. I have learned that sometimes you and somebody else can definitely be in a toxic connection without having to be a toxic person yourself or themselves, okay? Because I know that sometimes we overthrow the toxic label a little bit too easy. Yes. A little bit too easily. So I just want you to also be aware that there is a difference between somebody that is actually toxic and somebody that is, maybe at the wrong time, the wrong situation. So yeah,
and they ended up unintentionally hurting you.
Yes, and also vice versa. Sometimes we don't realize that we may hurt somebody else without, realizing it, without any intentions at all. All right, so the next point that I also want to share with you is that over the time, I have learned the hard way and accepting that sometimes closure is a myth. Well, here's the thing. Closure can definitely be a real thing, but sometimes you also just have to accept that you cannot accept closure all the time. Sometimes you have to find that closure within yourself. Well, actually, rewind that. You always have to be able to find that closure first within yourself. By first and foremost is to accept that you feel pain, but also accept that you actually did feel love for that person as well. This is not at all about feeling bad about yourself, putting yourself in a more negative energy and invalidating your own feelings. It's okay, just let them flow. If you feel angry, feel that, channel that, okay? You have to let it flow. And then if you feel happy, actually feel it.
Sometimes like the thing about closure is why we cannot really get into closure is because we keep wanting to say the last word.
Girl, are you roasting me?
Myself as well.
We both love to roast others.
Because we'll be like, oh, you did this to hurt me, like, that's it. And then like the other person wants to say things about that, like,
and you're like, no.
It's just gonna keep going on like that because everyone just keeps wanting to be the last person to say something.
Yes.
But again, like back to my second point, sometimes it's nobody's fault. Sometimes we just have to admit that it's there. So coming up to the other point about relationship that I feel is very, very important because us, complex human beings, complex emotions, sometimes it's possible to both feel anger and love at the same time. In the past I would sometimes confuse myself. I feel so angry, that means I don't love them, but I do feel love towards them. Right. So it's like confusing. So it took me some time to finally accept that it is possible to feel different kinds of conflicting emotions at the same time. It's not always just anger and love. It could be something else. It could be both happy and sad at the same time about a certain person or a certain situation. It could be anger and disappointment or disappointment and joy.
Oh yes.
But like sometimes these emotions they feel like they shouldn't be together. Communication is key.
Yes.
Communication is always
and
key.
Comprehension.
Yeah. And comprehension only comes if you do communicate first.
Yes, true. True.
So if you don't say anything, don't expect the other person to know anything about how you feel, how complex that is, or how simple that is.
But do you also have some of your own tips as to How do you communicate with your partner when you know it's very like, oh, it's a difficult topic, or like, oh, I'm like, oh, I feel my insecurity getting triggered, or my fear getting triggered, because for a lot of times communication itself is so difficult.
So difficult. For me personally, I think like the most important thing to do, especially when we're talking about something hard and something that might potentially offend our partner, I think what's most important is to first understand how we feel and why we feel that way, and understand what we want the outcome of the conversation to be. For example, if I'm angry, say if you're my partner and like I'm angry because you don't close the door on your way out all the time. This is just simple, right? Okay. Like why do I want to bring that up? Do I want to bring that up because I just want to let the emotion out, or do I want to bring that up because I want something to change? So there are two possible reasons why that can happen.
Yes.
Is one, maybe you are just not meant for each other. Like if you keep trying to fix this specific problem but it's not working out, maybe you're just not meant for that. Like maybe that problem is happening because there are fundamental differences within you that is, like within your boundaries. Those are the things that I do not want to change about myself. They do not want to change about themselves.
Yes.
And there's where we can leave it, like sometimes people are just not meant to be with each other, and that's nobody's fault. Again, back to point number 2.
Yeah.
Or second reason why that might happen, maybe they're just defensive. Maybe they're just maybe they're just being manipulative. Maybe they are toxic. But again, we try not to be so easy at throwing those words around.
Yes.
Because we also want to realize when we are actually the one being toxic. Maybe we are the one being manipulative.
Yes, so with the point that we just talked about with anger and love and all of that mixture of feelings, now this comes to the next point that I experienced myself, and this is love and pain. Now, I used to experience relationships where I always felt like, love equals pain, pain equals love, and all of that, shite. Love is not always enough. Maturity is very important. It's very needed. I mean, love is good. Love is beautiful. But the harsh reality as you live in this physical human body is that sometimes love is not enough. You cannot use the excuse of, well, I know that I hurt you. I know that I, did some white lies or some excuses, but I love you. I did this because I love you. I'm doing this because I love you. I realized that sometimes even when you love somebody for real, it's sadly in this reality, the harsh truth is that love is not always the only thing to keep the relationship alive.
Because in a way, we already see that this is probably not the person that is meant for us, that is best for us, but we keep trying to make them fit inside a mold to be the perfect person for us, and it just doesn't work like that. You wouldn't expect the other person to do that for you, so don't do that for the other person.
Yes, true.
Sometimes you're just two different people who met at the wrong time. Sometimes you were just growing in different direction and you're just not growing together anymore, and that happens. I think it's important to always be aware of where your boundaries are and where you want your growth to go, and realize when these things are not aligned with the relationship anymore, and talk to your partner about it. What do we want to do with this situation? I feel like you're going one way and I'm going a certain way. Like, is it worth fighting for? Is it something that we can work together on, or is this where your boundaries end? Because I do feel it's important every time we come up with a problem to also offer a solution.
Yes.
What do you expect from bringing this problem up? What do you want to change? What do you want the things to change are? Also, because sometimes your common sense might not be their common sense.
That's the thing.
Your standard
Yes.
might not be their standard, because we have to realize that we all come from different backgrounds, different experiences,
Yes.
and that affects us differently and makes us become different people with different
Yes.
boundaries. So, like, you want them to respect your boundaries,
That's
but you
the
also
thing.
have to respect their boundaries as well.
And so, last but not least, I also want you, Prameswari, to please give some tips. How do you know, how do you really realize that if somebody has been abusing your boundaries over and over again, and you know that that is your real boundaries, not you just being defensive? How do you become aware of it, and how do you better communicate to your partner?
Of course, first of all, like, our first and foremost point on the first of our video is to know our worth, and by knowing our worth is also to know our boundaries. So make sure you know these boundaries first before you get too much into all these conflicts, and I think when you already have the boundaries in place, you already understand where you are and what you need, what you definitely do not want in a relationship. It should be easier when it comes up, and just don't ignore the red flags.
Oh yes.
Don't ignore the red flags.
Yeah, so that's what we want to share for today, and I hope that you do enjoy this video and you find this useful, and please do share this video with your friends, with your family. And again, this is my lovely friend Prameswari. She is a witch hairstylist. A witch hairstylist. She does magic as well for hair, for beauty, and she is such a wonderful tarot reader as well. So yeah, you can just check out for her info more. All of her social media and links is in the description, and please don't forget to also subscribe and click the bell ring so you will not miss any new videos, and also my Instagram at Amorinet. See you again.
Stay happy.
Yes.